In this video, I'm going to introduce you to drill bits and drill drivers. And as usual in this course, I'm showing you a lot more than you need to see to get started. All you really need to get started in quite a good way is a set of drill bits like this. So this box with these holders, this is called a drill index. And each hole is specially sized to accept a certain size of bit. So that's a 1/8 inch bit there. And these bits increase in size by 1/32 of an inch. So between 1/16 and let's say half an inch, we have there's 9 bits here, 6 bits there, 15 bits in all. So that'll give you all the range of sizes that you need. And you're drilling into wood, so technically you don't really need the highest quality bits. Oh, by the way, these are called twist bits because they're kind of spiral in shape and they have a pointy, angled pointy tip. So twist bits. Even though you don't need really good quality bits for wood, I recommend you get the best quality you can, because sometime I expect you're going to want to drill into some metal and you want to have drill bits that are up to that. So you want to look for name brand. So I've had great luck with Irwin, DeWalt, Milwaukee. They all make great bits. Cobalt bits. Cobalt is a kind of a generic term, refers to the metal that's used to make the bit. So titanium coated, that's another thing. Don't buy bits that are too cheap either. You have to pay pretty good money to get your high quality drill bits. And an index like this will last you a long, long time. You will break bits from time to time, especially the smaller ones. So be diligent, make note of the size that you need to replace, go to the hardware store, get a replacement of the same quality. Keep your index in good shape, because when you want to drill, you just want to drill a hole, you just want to go and grab the bit that you need. It's very frustrating to find out that the bit you need is not there. So diligence will keep that collection in order. Now this is the same sort of bits that you see here, but they go up by 64ths of an inch instead of 32nds. So there's a lot more of them. And I've had this index for a while. I've actually got to replace a few small bits that I broke recently. You see some larger replacement bits here that look different. They are metal quality though. So this is the one I use most often. And I do use this for wood and metal. Now another kind of bit, you might want to consider getting this sooner rather than later if you work a lot with wood screws that will be visible. See, this is called a tapered bit. Do you see how the twist bit gets smaller as you go down? There's this feature here too. So it automatically countersinks. It automatically makes a depression in the wood for the head to go in. And because it's tapered, it matches the typical taper of screws, which are bigger at the top and smaller at the bottom. So it matches that. You really don't need anything like this if you're just working with softwood. But in hardwood, it's quite helpful, actually, because you do really need to drill a more accurate pilot hole, so a starting hole for the screw to get a proper grip on the wood. If you have any questions about this and how it works, let me know and I can get back to you on that. Another very common woodworking bit is what's called a spade bit. That's what these are here. They're called spade bits because they kind of look like shovels, I guess. They're not very expensive, and when they're sharp and new, like this set is here, they can cut some very nice holes with very precise edges, so no tearing, no raggedy edges. And part of that is because of these spurs that you see on the side. See that that kind of scores the wood before this middle part removes it. So for the bigger holes, that's the stuff. These are only ever used for wood, maybe in soft plastic too. Now these bits here, this is a drill index and it's not full because I don't have a complete collection of this kind of bit, but I do want to show you something here. This is called a brad point bit. And look at how different in shape that is from a twist bit. See, the twist bit is angled to a point. This has a central spur, and it's also got these wings on either side, which score the wood before the metal part removes it, just like with a spade bit. These brad point bits are used when you need a crisp edged hole of not too big of a size. So anytime you're drilling in wood and the edge of the hole matters, you want to grab a brad point bit. I'll show you in a minute the difference. I'll drill a hole with this and then a hole with that, and we'll see. The brad point bit essentially takes up where the spade bits leave off on the small end. So crisp edged holes that aren't too big, maybe up to 1/2 inch in diameter, like this bit here, you want to go with a brad point. Beyond that, you can go with spade bits, like you see here. There are other more expensive, more exotic, large bits for drilling big holes in wood, but spade bits are great. There's kind of a prejudice against them on the part of fine woodworkers, but I find these work great, especially when they're new and sharp, or when you've sharpened them. These can be resharpened in the shop, and they work great. So let me just finish up. I'll drill a hole in this piece of Baltic birch plywood that I've got next to me with a regular twist bit. It's not going to be terrible, but the edges are not going to be as crisp as you might like sometimes. So okay. You see that? Many times that's not a problem, but sometimes it is when you have those sort of frazzled edges. That's where the brad point comes in. Let me just stop there. You see how those spurs are cutting in nice and crisply? There, you can see the difference. That's what brad point bits are all about. You don't want to use them all the time because they're more expensive. You can't really resharpen them in the shop. It's not practical. But when you need a brad point bit, you really need a brad point bit. Other than some basic drill bits, twist bits to get you going, you'll also need some sort of screwdriver bits. They really make a lot of sense, what with the high quality cordless drills and impact drivers that are around. So come on over here. I want to show you where I keep my screwdriver bits. Cabinets like this are really helpful. There's a lot of little pieces involved in woodworking, especially when you get more into it and you want to be able to put your hands on things just when you need them. So these are screwdriver bits. They can be used in a drill, or they can be used in an impact driver like this. And it's really pretty simple. They just engage with the screw that you want to drive. So this is what's called a red Robertson. Most deck screws have a head like this, and the bit just goes in there. Now, as I said, this bit you can chuck it into a drill, just like you would a drill bit, but these bits have a depression here. And that means they can be locked into something called an impact driver, which doesn't really have a chuck in the same way, but you just put the bit in there and it locks in. This is the ideal screw driving tool. I've talked about this elsewhere. You can get by with a drill for driving screws. Actually, more than get by. It's going to work fine, but this just works better. The drill bits, the driver bits go in, and some of the better hand drivers also have bits that can be driven under power, like you see, because it's got that little groove there. And to remove the bit, you just pull the collar, pull the bit out like that. So most of the driver bits I use, screwdriver bits I use, are these red Robertson, but there's different sizes. This would be the green Robertson, smaller in size. We've got this larger sized one, black Robertson, and we've got some Phillips. This is for construction screws. They're large structural screws. They're larger in diameter. They have a bigger head, and they usually take a different kind of driver bit as well. So the main thing is that you need a few of these, and you want to start your organization early so that every bit you need is at your fingertips. And if you invest this kind of organization on what you're doing, it's going to pay off. This is the kind of thing that's going to make you a good woodworker. If you don't have to grope around looking for tools that you can't find, or not finding tools that you know you have, and then having to go out and buy out others in order to do your job. A little bit of organization, a few bits of hardware like this, and you'll be drilling holes and driving screws like the best of them.